from Here's Affairs here. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about my new and longer Glam Time hair extension set. But first, a little disclaimer. This is not a sponsored video. However, I would like to say that I was sent these extensions to try them out. I'm still going to give you my 100% honest opinion. Having said that, I also want to mention that I purchased my first set about a year ago and I have been using it in different hairstyles. I also have talked about these extensions in some of my previous videos, so feel free to check that out as well if you like. The way I'm going to do this video is first I'm going to talk a little bit about them, give you my opinion on them. Then I'm going to talk about maintenance, how to take care of them so they last longer. Third, I'm going to talk about the cut and how to best blend them. And lastly, I'm going to include a tutorial on a hairstyle where I use them. So if you're interested, please keep on watching, thumbs up this video if you like it, and subscribe to my channel so I can see you next time. So here you can see the difference in length from my previous set. And I don't know if it shows on camera, there is a slight difference in color. Even though I ordered the same shade, which is light honey blonde. This is a mixture of various shades, so I suppose it's a bit hard to get it 100% exactly the same each time. I was playing around with it yesterday and did a braid, and I think it blended very well and gave my braid dimension, so I'm not complaining about that. The one thing I think could be better is the packaging, and I will insert the photo here somewhere of how they looked when they came before I unwrapped them. But that's only because I cannot really reuse this for storage because it's not very comfortable and it would have been nice. However, on that note, I also want to say that these extensions are a little bit cheaper than some other that I have seen on the market. And if you're gonna cut down on the costs, I prefer it to be on the packaging and not on the hair quality. One other thing I would like to mention, because I often hear people talk about that, is when you look at these weft by weft, they do get a little bit thinner towards the ends. These are all of the wefts together. You're going to have to decide if that's a problem for you or not. I think it looks pretty natural. I also think that if each weft was super thick and blunt at the bottom, it would be extremely hard to blend, which I will get back to in a moment. I also have already washed them and styled them a bit, curled them with a curling wand. I always find it quicker and I prefer to curl my extensions while they're hanging separately and my own hair separately. And then once I put them in, if I see some areas that aren't blending, I will make sure to take a little bit of my own hair and the extensions and curl them together. And that usually does the trick. I think when you put them all in your hair and they're all together, it looks very healthy and natural. The extensions are 100% human hair. That means that you can treat them and style them as you would your own hair. I'd say with a few exceptions. For example, there is no need to wash them as often as you would your own hair. I think they say that you should wash them after every 15 to 20 wears. I'd say that depends a little bit on how much product you use and the product buildup. Overwashing the extensions can cause them to lose their moisture, just like your own hair, except our own hair can get moisture from our scalp. The extensions can't, which is why you should be careful and not wash them too often. Because it's human hair, you can of course heat style it the way you would your own hair. But of course proceed with caution, just like you would with your own hair. For example, if you have curled the extensions and you want to straighten them, all you really have to do is spray it with water and brush it out gently and just let it dry, and that should do the trick. You can also use techniques for heatless curls and style them overnight, just like you would your own hair. And of course, the better you take care of your extensions, the longer they're gonna last. Because the extensions are already bleached to the right color, it's not recommended that you lighten them. It's better if you just tone them. If you have any doubts about what hair color to pick, always choose the lighter shades and match it to the ends. But I would just recommend, writing to their customer service. I remember when I first purchased them a year ago, they really helped me pick a perfect match. They actually recommended a different hair color to the one I was thinking of buying, so I'm glad I asked them. They reply quickly and they're very sweet and helpful. As for the cut and blend, I think that most of us, unless you have very long hair all around, then and you're just using it for volume, then probably it won't matter. But the rest of us will probably have to adjust the haircut a little bit to match our own hair. I think that it's important before you cut anything that you figure out the purpose of the extensions, and I don't mean the obvious, to add length and volume. I mean, how are you planning to wearing them? Are you planning to wear your hair mostly down, or are you planning to add it to your braids and up styles? It's very important because that will kind of determine how you cut them, in my opinion. If you're going to wear your hair mostly down, I think that before you cut anything, you should clip them in your hair and wear them around the house, even just for a little bit, to figure out what your favorite placement of the clips is. Figure out how high or how low you want to keep them. If your hair is very thick and you have a lot of it, then probably you'll want to space the wefts out a little bit more, and then you'll end up clipping the last one quite high. If your hair is on the finer side or quite thin, you'll want to keep the wefts, all of the wefts, as low as possible, so that you leave, you know, enough hair to cover the clips. My hair is like normal to fine, but I still like to clip in the extensions that I'm using quite low. I try not to go over the occipital bone actually, because I feel that that gives me more room to play around with different hairstyles. So you need to figure all that out before you go to your hairstylist. And if you're not comfortable with cutting hair, I do recommend going to a hairstylist. Now, if the purpose of the extensions is to add them to braids, you know, and different hairstyles, then you should probably try to cut them as less as possible. As for me, my hair is more mid-length. I have like a U shape in the back and I have layers in the front. So the only thing I did with my 3-clip and 4-clip wefts, I placed them about where I would like to have them, and then more or less where my own hair ends. From that point, I gave it a little bit of a U shape, and that's all I did. I hardly ever clip in all of the wefts at once. I clip them in differently depending on the kind of hairstyle I want. For example, if you have longer hair and you want to do a side braid and you just want to add a little bit of volume, you could just, you know, clip the 1-clip wefts and the 2-clip wefts diagonally next to each other. Because I use them so differently, I would never adjust the length of these to the hair, you know, to my hair in the front area. Here you can see my cut a little bit, my layers in the front. I know it's not that visible because the hair is curled. And here is the back. The ends are slightly feathered. There is a slight U shape going on, and I have some layers. And I definitely find the extensions much easier to blend into my hair right now than when my hair had a blunt cut and was shorter. Now, if my hair was a lot shorter, instead of letting these down, because then they would definitely stick out from underneath the hair, you could just what I meant to say is that you can take the bottom hair and twist it up, pin it in place tightly, and then pin the extensions on top of that, so that the shorter layers from the bottom won't stick out. Okay, just on a side note, because I ultimately wanted to do a braid, I chose the wefts that are more narrow, so I used the 2-clip wefts from the bottom and then went up to the 3-clip wefts. If I was going for a half-up style, I would probably do the 3-clip wefts and 4-clip wefts. I normally don't clip anything in on the sides because I often do braids and then I add hair in sections from my face, and then the clips would just show very easily. I just add length and volume to the bottom part. and then make sure to either twist and pin these pieces up or put them in a braid. So that's what I'm going to do now. So now I'm going to show you a very easy technique where you can incorporate your shorter layers with the extensions. I gathered a section on the top of my head and tied it into a ponytail. Then I made a hole right above the elastic and flipped the ponytail over so that it would form a twist. Then I would pull on the edges of the twists, and then I would flip the ponytail again and pull on the edges some more. Then I picked up 2 other sections below that, tied them into a ponytail and repeated the entire procedure again. For this first hairstyle, I did a total of 3 flipped ponytails, but it's up to you if you want to do 1, 2, 3 or more. And here's the finished result. Keep in mind that for this hairstyle I would use 3 clip and 4 clip wefts because I think the sides would blend in better. For the next hairstyle I decided to add another twist. If you feel that some of the twists are drooping down, just use bobby pins to pin them higher in place. I divided the rest of the hair into sections to do a fishtail braid. The way you do that is you take the outer edge of one section and cross it over to the opposite section and vice versa. And you do this all the way down. My camera decided to overheat a little bit, but the only thing I did is I flipped the braid to the side and continued to braid a fishtail braid all the way down and tie it off with an elastic. All that's left to do now is to gently pull on the edges of the braid to make it much bigger and fuller. And this is the finished look. I hope you like it. Okay guys, I hope you found this video helpful, especially if you're in the market for hair extensions or if you're simply struggling with how to blend them. That's my take on it. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!